Hey guys, and welcome back to Ultra Game World. And today we are looking at a PC case. This PC case is the Kolink Inspire K6. Now this is a micro ATX case. It's in black. It has a tempered glass front to it. It has quite a sort of like solid front, but a little bit of mesh, which is going to be down here. It has a PSU shroud at the bottom, which is a nice feature. The main benefit of this case is the price, really. I actually only got this for £25 on Amazon, which I think is a real bargain for tempered glass, PSU basement, and you actually do get a fan, I think, as well. I'm going to have to check that, but yeah, good size case. I mean, for a micro ATX, it's not too big. It's lengthwise 430 millimeters. Height of 465 millimeters and width of 250 millimeters, so fairly compact, about 5 kilogram case, so again not too heavy. It's got some nice good case feet there, and this is basically just going to be an unboxing of this case just for this video. I think we do have a build coming up with this. Why don't we crack on, get this case out of this box, and then we'll take a bit of a further look at it. Let's go. Hopefully you can see this here. Just going to undo the box at the top here now. This does look quite a nice case actually, and caught my eye. Kolink, generally quite a good make. They've done other, I think it's Citadel, I think it's another case that they've done. And they've done some decent cases before, so they're not like, they're probably not like a well-known brand, but they are a decent brand, and they are sort of quite a decent brand, certainly in the UK anyway. Okay. So, let's take a look at the case then. So I've just put a little overhead that should be in the bottom right hand corner that you can see. So you can just see from over the top as well as obviously the front on view. Let's just sort of have a quick little look, a little tour, and then we'll go into a bit more detail. So the tempered glass here at the front, as you can see, the PSU basement does have one fan at the back, which is non-RGB. No case fans at the front, unfortunately, but one, I think it's 120 millimeters there. Yeah, pretty sure that's 120 millimeter fan at the front, so that's quite good. Let's go to here first of all. Normal sort of layout. First one might be, I think the first one's actually replaceable, but the rest aren't. Look at the back, very plain, nothing really there. Here is the top, and then you've got the bottom as well, so that's quite nice. And then the front, actually I didn't mention this earlier, actually the finger marks are actually quite bad there. It does actually have a little bit of, but obviously once you just wipe that down you'll be fine. But at the front it's kind of like a solid black part here, hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So solid black here with the RGB strip just coming down here, and then as you can see here, this is your sort of only ventilation, which isn't great, but this is kind of advertised for a budget system, so budget system is going to be best. So yeah, we'll sort of just go around the case now, and then we'll open up the side panels, and then we'll go from there. So as I said, the front, quite restricted here at the front. Can you actually, there is a little pull thing there, so I might actually try and pull this off if I can. Jeez. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we did get it off. A little bit of quite a big tug there actually in the end I had to give it, but we got there. As you can see, the RGB is all in there. That's all pre-wired up for you, which is nice. That will go into the back, but we'll get to that in a bit. You would obviously just put your fans here at the front. Just be careful here I don't snap the cables. So looking at this, I think there's probably room for two 140s here at the front. There is a little bit of a drive bay sort of area down there, and as I say, like, the ventilation isn't that great, but there is a fair amount of ventilation there, and overall I think that's not too bad. Just got to put it back on now. There we go. If you're worried about dust, it might not be the best. Certainly might not be the best case, this one, if you are worried about dust. But let's take a look at the side here. Like I say, I think it's 4mm tempered glass, so that's nice. It's sort of a little bit tinted. I wouldn't say it's that tinted, maybe a very, very slight tint, but that's fairly clear actually. Power supply shroud doesn't actually cover the whole thing, unfortunately. There is a little like hole bit there, which I don't really like, but a lot of budget cases seem to do this now. Probably a little bit of cost saving, so yeah. Let's have a quick look at the back, as I was saying. So a good plus here. Again, this case is only £25, so you've got to you've got to put that into perspective as well. That's why there's sort of cheapo things here, with obviously the dust filter not being like one of those removable ones from the front. It's one of those sort of cheapy ones, which it can be replaced. You can take it out and clean, so that's nice. But I would have liked one of those from the front, which pulls out and then you put back in. Usually like Corsair and what have you do that, but again, this is a cheap case, so we have to understand that. 4 very good case feet, mind you, which is a very big plus for a budget case, because a lot of them will skimp out in this area, and there is a bit of sort of foam there as well, so you won't get too much marks on your desk, which is nice. I'm not sure whether the drive bay actually removes or not, but I can put that in the I can put that on the screen if you want. Again, your PSU shroud is here. One of those funny things with the PCI Express slot just goes up and down, but you can remove that. That's not really too much of a bother. One black fan, as I was saying. Your I/O shield will go here. All pretty standard, really. Let's have a look at the top. The top here, obviously, big clicky power button. Nice, I like that. Your hard drive and power LEDs, so nice, not too bad. Fairly small, but perfectly fine. We have a reset button, and we have the RGB button. So this will control the RGB at the front, and it just sort of cycles through as you click the button, obviously. Headphone and microphone jacks, which is pretty standard. 2 USB 2s, which I really don't like. I would have liked to seen 2 USB 3s, but this is a budget case, so that does happen on a lot of budget cases. But we do have 1 USB 3, so I suppose 3 USB ports at the front is kind of nice, but yeah, I'd rather just 2 USB 3 ports, but hey ho. Does come with a filter at the front, at the top, sorry. So that is removable, and we can actually fit fans here as well. Looking at motherboard clearance, I don't think you're going to have a lot of clearance there, so probably radiators, probably going to be a no-no on that one, I would think. You would only be able to fit, I think it's 120mm fans here, so 2 of them. I don't think you'd be able to get 140s unfortunately there, but this really isn't a case where you top mount your radiator. Yes, you know, you don't really do that with this case. I mean, this is certainly not a water cooling case, and if you're going down that sort of route of wanting to put an AIO in, then this isn't really the case for you, unfortunately. But as I said, a budget system is perfectly fine here. So we've looked at all the sides. Let's take off the side panel and have a look at that. This is quite nice that they actually remove the thumb screws without me having to get a screwdriver. So that's actually quite a nice little feature there. So many times you actually have to get a screwdriver out just to actually remove the thumb screws for the first time, which is annoying. Now, does it have any of those? Oh yeah, it does. Okay, so it has like these rubber sort of grommets at the top there, if you can see. Don't love that because they could come off, but they are actually okay. They're actually inbuilt to the case, so that's something. That's actually quite nice. Actually, how they've done that, to be fair. So a lot of the times these actually fall off when you're taking off the side panel, so yeah, to actually have that built in is nice. So let's have a quick look at the insides. Right, pretty good insides, I'd say here. SD sort of slots for your 2 SSD drives. It's all pre-mounted for the screws, which is, again, on a budget case, is very nice. There's 6 of them in there, but there is actually a few extras in case you've got a little bit of a bigger motherboard. Here, actually just poking out here is our addressable, I think it's addressable RGB, or is it just... fan only has a 3-pin header for the back fan, so obviously you won't have the PWM functionality. So this must be just to plug into your motherboard, I would assume, unless there's some kind of controller or something there. So yeah, looking at the inside, fairly decent here. Like I say, probably not a lot of clearance at the top here. I certainly don't think you're actually going to get a radiator in there now, unless you've got sort of very short RAM or very low profile RAM possibly, but by the time, even like this with a CPU cooler, it's probably going to come out to about here, so yeah, I can't really see that happening. Cables are fairly well routed at the top here. It's got a green PCB, which isn't great for the aesthetics of the case, but again, it's a budget case, so there's a little bit where you have to kind of give a little bit of leeway, but yeah, a nice full PSU shroud, which is nice. I would have liked to have seen this covered up, but it is what it is. And let's just take a little look at the back now. So again, these are actually thumb screws, which are really nice. They're not captive or anything, but don't really worry about that too much. It's a budget case, so we wouldn't expect captive screws really. And yeah, first impressions are actually very good. So let's have a look at this. I think this was from the front actually. Okay, so you've got LED power. Okay, so you've got a Molex. A little bit annoying to have to plug a Molex in, but it is what it is, I guess. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see what other cables we've got. So we've got our USB 3 here, our sort of normal pins here for like front panel and what have you, and reset and everything. It's not actually, it's labelled HD audio and USB 2, 2.0. Our bag of screws and stuff. I don't actually see an instruction manual unless it was, no. So I don't think it actually comes with an instruction manual, but again, it's probably going to be fairly simple to build in. Looking at the bottom here, I think it's riveted in the actual hard drive mount, which is a little bit annoying, but if we grab this, power supplies, yeah, you should be good for at least 20 centimetres or so there. So there should be plenty of room actually to get all your cables at the back, as long as you haven't got a particularly big power supply, you should be fine there. And the other sort of big positive I was going to say is the actual cable management space is a real good positive. I'm actually happy with that. Now, I took well, I actually did a build in the CIT Flash. CIT Flash was very bad for this, that it didn't give any clearance, but if we have a little look at our tape measure, like even if I put my finger here, I mean I've got plenty of room there, and when I put my tape measure up, although this is not probably the best way of doing it, I mean I've got about 20 millimeters there, or 2 centimeters, so pretty much any power supply is going to fit perfectly fine and going to be perfectly managed. And so you've got a lot of cable management holes here, sort of like tie downs, and also 2 big decent holes, that obviously that one for your CPU power, so that will go in really comfortably. That's a very good space. This one as well, just in case you've got a cable wanting to go there, but I don't really see why you would there. And then you've got 2 sort of fairly large holes here. Obviously there's no grommets or anything on these holes, but you'll be able to feed your 24 pin motherboard connector through there, power connector through there. And yeah, it actually does look a really nice case. I'm actually quite looking forward to actually doing a build in this. So I hope you really like that unboxing we did of this case. For £25, I think this looks a really good case, and I hope you do subscribe so you can see the future upcoming build that we're going to do with this. It's going to be relatively budget build, of course, but this is more targeted towards budget builds, the case, and also this channel is kind of targeted towards more budget builds. So yeah, I think it will be quite a nice build experience. Certainly looks good enough cable management, which was one of my concerns, but I don't think there's a problem there. And yeah, I think it should be good. So please like this video if you did like what I'm doing here, and obviously drop us a subscribe if you would like to. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.